morning and welcome to the 5th episode of the Yarn Waffle podcast. Woo! We made it to 5. How amazing is that? My name is Liz Ward. I am a crochet designer living in York, in England, UK, with my two Bengal cats, Cassie and Cal. Cassie's hopefully just going to go sit down rather than rocking the camera like she was doing last week. No, she's going straight for the camera. You can find me across the internet as Liz Ward Crochet on Instagram and as Lizwardamigurumi on Ravelry. I have a website which is lizwardcrochet.com and an Etsy shop which is called Amigurumi Barmy. We also now have a Instagram page specifically for the Yarn Waffle podcast that you can follow, and that is just called Yarn Waffle Podcast. It's very easy to find, and that is where I will post all the show notes for every episode and all my finished objects, and yeah, there's not going to be much cat stuff on there, but it's mainly just going to be info about the show. But it all looks really pretty so far, so I'm enjoying it as a page, so go have a look, see what you think. Okay, I'm not wearing a knitted sweater today, but I do have on my Not Tracy shawl. This was the shawl that was based on the Tracy shawl by Hoki Locatelli, and I knitted out of black elephant yarns in the mudbound colourway and fine fish yarns in the neon neutrals. I love this shawl. I wear it an awful lot ever since I finished it. I pretty much followed Tracy's pattern to about here. Not Tracy's pattern, that's terrible. Hoki's pattern. It starts off as a traditional triangle shawl, and I followed the pattern pretty much to about here where she gets you start striping in another colour, and I was just going to do this as a one colour shawl, so I didn't do that. And then there's a whole load of eyelets and short rows and whatnot, and I just decided to ignore it completely and go my own way to make a perfectly symmetrical eyelet shawl. And I feel like I went off pattern so much that I may end up reworking it slightly and maybe bringing it out as pattern of my own. Don't know yet. I have bought some more yarn fall out, but don't know if it's going to happen. There has not been a lot of knitting this week. It's been a very busy week with crochet work, and there was Yarndale at the weekend, and yeah, so I feel like I have less knitting to show you than I normally would have, but I do have a finished object, and that is my Christmas socks. You know, that just ignore that. That's not there. These are a pair of Christmas socks. The yarn is from Homespun Wonders, and after some collaboration with the dyer, we managed to remember the name, which is called Santa and the Christmas Fairy. I think these are fab. The pattern I've used is the Choose Your House socks, which is your DK sock pattern by Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears. Yeah, I absolutely love the way it's turned out. I don't know if this pattern is currently available because it was only available for club members if you joined a Swish and Flick collective club, but I think once that is all finished, she will be releasing the patterns independently, so this may then be available. So these were knit on a 3.75 circular needle using the magic loop method. They have a heel flap and gusset, which is not my standard sock construction of choice, but I enjoyed doing it. I think when I've done socks in the past, doing the heel flap and gusset, I've always used DPNs because that's what before I started using the magic loop method. I know, Cassie, I know. Yeah, so it was before I started knitting socks on magic loop, and I found doing a heel flap and gusset very finicky fiddly on DPNs. But so this was the first time I actually tried it on magic loop, and I found it really easy. So I've been doing a few more just to see how they go, and I've also been trying some different toes and some different things, and just experimenting with my basic sock pattern of choice, because I think we can sometimes get stuck in a rut with what we do if you're doing a pattern over and over again. So Cassie is currently drinking my water. And Cal's now shouting from downstairs. yeah, I think you can just kind of get a bit stuck in a rut with the pattern that you choose to use, and you know, and so sometimes it's nice just to explore other options. And so that is what I've been doing, as I am currently in the process of trying to catch up on my 12 pairs of Christmas socks that I was meant to knit this year, and I've only knit 3. This is pair 3. Oh dear. Yeah, we'll get there. So yeah, so there's Choose Your Own House socks, and they are in Yarn by Homespun Wonders in the Santa and the Christmas Fairy. They have striped and strobed slightly differently on each foot, but I don't mind that. I'm quite happy with that. They look good. I like them. So yeah, one more pair of Christmas socks finished. Okay, so first off, I am going to show you the only thing that isn't socks that I've been working on this week, and this is living in a new purchase that I got at Yarndale, and this is my Floof Hunter bag. Oh, I've wanted this bag for so long. Oh, I have. Oh, Kristen from Bull and Vine showed it off when she'd got one at Edinburgh earlier this year, and I was like, I need that. I need that right now. And they were sold out for ages. It's from Yarnistory. They have an Etsy shop, which I will put on the screen. And they sell lots of bags and notions and amazing things. And yes, so I finally got my Floof Hunter bag. Could this not be more perfect for me, who is always cats crawling over me. You see Cassie, she's in the bookcase now. And they're always hunting for the floof. I also picked up a one of these laser dyed keychains to go on it, and it is the Kitchener stitch, because I'm learning. I've done it a few more times now, and yeah, I am learning to Kitchener, and so I have a little handy reminder on my Floof Hunter. Love it so much. So yeah, in this bag I have the gloves that I'm working on. These have not got as far as I had hoped they would, but I've just had to change the cord they were on, because they were on a too fine a cord and it was being all flimsy and floppy and not helping. So these are an improvised pattern that I am writing up as I go. This is the second pair I've made to experiment with the pattern. I have done a twisted ribbed hem on these. Hem? Cuff. Just to give it a bit more detail. I really like the stitch definition on this yarn. It's showing so beautifully. And this is a yarn I dyed. I dye yarn under the brand Liz's Hallway Yarns. Not currently dyeing at the moment, but hoping to start that up again soon. And these is one of my mop bucket colourways, which is just when I throw in a skein of yarn at the end of a dye session to mop up any of the dregs of colour that are left, and so they don't go down the sink, because you don't want to put a dye down the sink. And you end up with a colourway that you don't know what it's going to be like. You can never repeat it, but to my heart they are beautiful. And yeah, mop bucket colourways, love them. So yeah, I have just I think these are also on, these are on 3.5mm needles. They're on my ChowGoo interchangeables, and I have just got to the part where, which side is it? So you can see the stitch markers there, and this is the gusset increases for where the thumb is going to go. And I've just got to the part where on the next row I will be taking these stitches off, putting them on waste yarn, and then knitting the glove up to the point where I can start doing the fingers. So not far to go on these. They should be finished by next week's podcast. Okay. It's an odd week this week. But let's get the knitting out of the way, because there's a lot of Yarndale to talk about. Oh, there is, baby. And what's in this bag? Whoop! Let's get a sock blocker, because we have a I just can't. Half finished object is not a thing. I have one sock of a pair complete. Yeah, so this is another one for my Christmas box of socks. It is the Crazy's Alba Ball. It is not technically a sock yarn, but we're gonna use a lot of leeway in what we're calling Christmas yarn and sock yarn with my Christmas box of socks, because it's my Christmas box of socks and I can do what I like. So yes, I have the first sock here complete. This was knit on 2.25 needles using the magic loop method. I have again gone for a standard heel flap and gusset, just slip stitches and a rounded heel. And then I have used a wedge toe rather than my standard round toe. Really nice. I think it's safe to say that this one is definitely looking quite Christmassy. And I have the second sock on the needles. It's not got very far and it's not looking very Christmassy. It'll be fine when it's finished. Like I say, we're not going to be too precious about the fact that the Christmas colours aren't particularly Christmassy. So that is this will be the 4th Christmas sock in the Christmas box. I'm just going to take these out so I don't forget them later. Oh yeah, I have all the information coming up for the giveaway that I will be hosting, because we have hit 100 subscribers. That's insane. There's 100 people out there that want to listen to me waffle on about yarny things. Yarny things. Okay. So I have another finished sock. Just pop it on a blocker. Sorry if we're speeding through this week. So this is a micro striping yarn. I've showed it last week. It's by Gamer Crafting and it was in one of their mystery clubs, so I can't quite remember the colourway name. It is striping and strobing, as you can see there, but that's absolutely fine. I don't mind that at all. Again, I've been experimenting with different heels and toes, so I've actually done a garter short row heel here, which I really like. I like this a lot. I don't know how it's actually going to wear when I'm wearing it. And I've gone for a wedge toe again there. But can you see what's happened here? For some reason, my slip slip knits have twisted. It's on both sides, so I don't know what I was doing. Never happened before. Isn't twisted on that. Oh no, it is twisted on this one as well. So it would seem I'm doing something wrong. So I don't mind, they're socks for me, but it would be nice if this side was as neat as that side. But I don't hate it. I haven't cast on the second one of these because I'm now on a bit of a kick to get some Christmas socks on the needles. So just finish this one and probably won't be in a rush to cast on the second one. But we'll see. We'll see. Also in here is the last of the actual knitting this week, which is my Traffic Island socks. I can't remember who the pattern's by, but I'll put it on the screen. Also in yarn by Gamer Crafting, and the only thing I've done on these socks this week is turn the heel. Heel is turned and I now have many stitches for the decreases. Hair. Can you hear the cat ripping up the carpet? Yeah, I love these socks. There's something quite lizard-like about them. The colourway is called Poison Apple, again from Game Crafting, and it's the Traffic Island sock pattern. Really enjoying these. These are on a 2.25 needle and I'm knitting the smallest size in the pattern. But yeah, really nice. And actually that is it for actual knitting this week. Nothing else has had any progress. I have not done any work on any sweaters. I haven't really wanted to cast anything new on. I did waste an afternoon trying to cast on this pattern, which I bought a couple of years ago. It's a beautiful hat pattern. I got it from Spring Into Wool, I think, a couple of years ago. I can't show you the back because that's got a chart on it. And it is a like a mock cable, so I thought it would be really interesting. Really easy and interesting. It's not that easy. it starts with a tubular cast on, which, but I've always been like, well, it doesn't matter, I don't have to start it that way. But yeah, I don't know, I just kind of wanted to try to see if I could, and I couldn't. I think the method that I used was not the easiest. There are easier methods to try, and I am going to try again. I'm going to be knitting this in this lovely blue yarn, which is by Alice Yarns, who's actually a dyer from York. She's not dyeing anymore, or at the moment, she's taking a break from it, and I managed to pick up 2 of her yarns on a D-stash. So, and I was like, yes, perfect for casting this on. So, but yeah, it was an afternoon of knitting that without any actual results. It all got frogged and balled back up. Slightly disheartened by it, but it just needs to sit for a minute, and then I'll try again, cast it on again. I think that is it for knitting content this week. Sorry, very slim on the ground, but there will be plenty more coming up in in the weeks coming, because I am starting the Stephen West mystery shawl along, and yeah, nervous but excited, and I got some beautiful yarn for it. I'll show you that in a little bit. But let's talk about the crochet pattern that I will be releasing with this episode, and it is a hat design. I did give a brief glimpse of it on last week's episode, and I have slightly tweaked it, slightly redesigned it, and I have brought it out in 2 different sizes. So there is a size with why don't I show you? Okay, so we'll go for this one first. Yeah, so this is knit in a King Cole super chunky wool, and you can knit this pretty much in anything. If you're wanting to get the gauge in fingering weight, you're probably going to need to hold 3 together. Otherwise it would be a chunky or 2 strands of DK weight held together. And this is a crochet hat. It is knit from the top down. You start here and you finish with this rib. It's very, very simple and very, very quick. It's got a really nice little just a little button tab on the side, which I kind of like with hats because I never know which way to put them on, and I find when I've got something like a little tag here, I can sort of hold that and go, and then I know it's sort of in the right place, kind of just over my ear, which I like. Yeah, so this is the first size, which I put a bobble on, nice fluffy pom-pom. It has a little tiny bit of slouch, but not too much. It's so cozy and comfy. It's really lovely. This is, the name of this pattern is the Simple Bobble Hat. Keep it simple. Yeah, I really like this colour. This, yeah. I'm being silly. Yeah, so this is a Simple Bobble Hat, and this is the first size, which doesn't have a lot of slouch. It's so cute. It's seriously so easy to make. I am a fast crocheter. I've mentioned that before. But the larger size of these only took me a couple of hours to crochet up. This is the larger size, so it's quite a bit longer. And this one was knit in a drops yarn, and it's a single ply and it's a wool. So I did actually block this one out. I didn't bother with that one. I blocked this one out because I wanted it to give a bit more drape, and it really, for a crochet hat, because they can be very stiff, you know, like proper sort of put it on your head and it's whoop. This has got a lot of drape. For a chunky yarn, can you actually sort of see the drape there? Yeah, for a chunky yarn, it's worked out really nicely and it's got a lot of drape. So I will put this one on and you can see the difference between the two. Again, ends are not woven in. So that's it. Is it stuck up? And then you just tuck it back, and then you get all this squishy drape, squishy slouchiness on the back. I think my head's misbehaving. I really like hats that pull down over my ears and keep me nice and warm. You could also put a bobble on this one. I didn't because I forgot to make one. I was going to make one out of the same yarn, but I forgot. I would say these are probably an intermediate crochet level. You pretty much have very easy stitches apart from the hem, which is a front post double crochet, and you don't have to do that if you don't want to. You could knit crochet this a little bit longer and just finish it with the slip stitch, which looks really nice. And yeah, you don't have to do that hem. It is just, I put it in the pattern because I really like the way it finishes off. It gives it that sort of traditional hat look. But yeah, I have made them in the past where they are just finished with that slip stitch and they look really, really lovely. So yeah, so I've made the two. I think they go really nicely together. Not that I will wear two hats unless I get another head. You never know what might happen in the future. But yeah, there are flecks of the orange in this, and then this is the lovely burnt orange. Yeah, so this afternoon I'm going to go and photograph them, and the pattern will come out when this episode airs on YouTube, so it'll probably be tomorrow morning because I'm recording it at a slightly higher quality and it's taking slightly longer to upload. And the discount code, which gives you 50%, the discount code that gives you 50% off this pattern, and that will be available for 2 weeks until the next crochet pattern comes out, and the discount code is bobble hat. Okay, it'll be on the screen, and all the details where to find it will be on the screen also. Right, let's talk about a giveaway. 100 subscribers. Bonkers. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for coming back and watching every week and leaving such lovely comments. It's really, sometimes it's not easy to set this up and start talking to myself, to the camera. I've made a commitment to myself to do it because I think it helps with my work and with my hobby and becoming a better knitter and getting a bit more crochet mojo back. So yeah, so I mean this morning particularly I was procrastinating like mad, and I just I didn't really want to come up and film, but I'm here doing it and it's amazing, and 100 subscribers. So thank you, and Cassie thanks you, although she's doing what she always does, which is just sitting in the background and cleaning herself. So we're going to have a giveaway. I mentioned it last week on the podcast. There's no prompts. All you have to do is be a subscriber or use the Yarn Waffle podcast hashtag on Instagram to share this podcast. That is all. I will take all those people over the next 2 weeks and that have subscribed or used the hashtag, and I will pop all the names into a hat and I will draw for 2 prizes. Now, I made these to take to Yarndale and I have a few left. So these are going to be 2 of the prizes. I'll pick them out at random. So these are tiny beaded stitch markers that I hand beaded. They're sort of little geometric designs. I think they're lovely. I really love them. So one of those goes in the pot. So one of you very lucky people will get this skein of DK weight yarn from Ducky Darlings. This is a Trick or Treat colourway, and you will get it in time for Halloween. I sincerely hope. If you live in the UK, you definitely will. And this is grey with lovely pops of neon, and it would make a beautiful hat. Yeah, so this is a really lovely skein of Ducky Darlings yarn, and you will get that, and you will get a stitch marker, and the other lucky person will get, so it's going to be slightly crinkly, a set of my hand-dyed yarn, and this is my Rainbow Minis, and you get 8 in a set. They're all slightly speckled and they're all balled up ready to go, so you don't have to wind them when you go. So you get all the rainbow colours, but then you also get this one here, which is a grey, and it has spots of all the rainbow colours. So that is the other prize for the giveaway. 2 amazing prizes. Good luck. Please spread the podcast so other people can find it and keep me motivated to keep doing this. Yes. Okay. So that was a fairly short one, and I'm just going to pause for a minute and for the next sort of section of this podcast, I am going to be talking about my trip to Yarndale. I went to Yarndale this last weekend with my friend Erica, and it was really lovely to go to the festival. I haven't been for a couple of years, and I've never really been with a proper knitter's hat on. I've always pretty much gone with my crochet designer hat on, and not really been able to indulge in all the beautiful hand-dyed yarns because it's not something I can work with magazine commissions, because I need repeatable colourways for that. So it was lovely to have my hobby knitter hat on and just be able to go, oh, I can make everything, all the things are so beautiful and I can have them. So that was wonderful. It was incredibly busy. Incredibly busy. We had decided to go by train and arrive slightly later in the day to hopefully the crowds would have died down and people would be having their lunch by then, but there was an awful lot of stalls, and you were pretty much just with the crowd. There was a lot of bumping and jostling of people, and it was sometimes difficult to get into the stalls, but by later on in the day, by about sort of 2-3 o'clock, it was calming down. People were leaving and it was getting easier, and by that time it was nice to shop. I got to meet some of the lovely vendors I've met at previous shows. Liz from the Yarn Badger, and oh bless, I can't remember her name, the lady from Black Elephant. I'm terrible with names. Yeah, I had a really good chat with her. She's so lovely, and I got to meet the dyer from Dye Candy as well, which was great. And I also got to meet Ellie from Skandia Podcast. Yeah, she had come up from London for the show, and I saw her and sort of was like, hello. I apologise, Ellie. Big fan of the podcast. Yeah. Yeah, so I slightly fangirled at her, and it was lovely to see her. She's really lovely. Yeah, but exhausting, wonderful, lovely, lovely show. And the yarn, oh, and all the treats, all the wonderful things. Cassie keeps going on my knee, by the way, which is where, if you're wondering where my hands are, they're probably just below the camera line, stroking her. Oh, just say hello, Cassie. Oh, boo. Oh, that's not a happy noise. Yeah. So, let me show you what I got. We'll start with the slightly more boring things first. Everything I bought did have a project in mind, apart from this bag here. This is the slightly more boring bag. This is so incredibly sheepy. So this is undyed spun sheep fleece wool yarn. Proper woolly. It's quite oily and lanolin-y, and I got 2 big hanks of this, which is going to be a sweater at some point, and oh god, it's so sheepy. Mum said it smelled like sheep poop. It doesn't. It smells like sheepy goodness. Oh, so sheepy. Yeah, so this stall, I should have his leaflet in here somewhere. Whoop. This is the professional way to do things, isn't it? I'll probably... Yeah. This was from Woolly very reasonable prices. I can't remember how much it was for 200 grams, but it was definitely less than 20 quid. And also from the same stall, I picked up some linen. This is a bit of a mess, but there's 2 big hanks of linen here. One in a natural colour and one in this yellow ochre mustardy gold gorgeousness. Yeah, I have a few sort of summer tops that I would really like to knit in linen, so this is going to be stashed away till next year. Oh, it looks right jumble. Doesn't smell sheepy, but it smells really nice. Yeah. So yeah, this wasn't a planned purchase, but I mean, I've seen linen around the places and it can be really expensive. I do have some dropped linen up here, but yeah, so a few linen sweaters for next summer. That's that plan. And the only other thing in here is Chester Wools, who sell undyed yarn and are wholesalers for many dyers. Also had a stand there, and so I bought 5 of their single base to try dyeing on singles because I am slightly addicted to single bases now, and oh, it just feels so lovely. Yeah, so I really want to see how some of the colourways that I like dye up on this, and I have 5 skeins. It could well be that I will dye them up and I will keep them all. In fact, it probably will be, or they might be gifted to friends, or I might put one in a giveaway. But yeah, I just got 5 skeins, and yeah, they're for playing with, for dyeing and playing with. Ooh, so Cassie's in the bag now. Did I mention that Cassie has a real weird thing about licking plastic bags? I don't know if you've got a cat that does the same. Well, I'm not going to say it's the only thing. So sheepy. It's just, the noise irritates me to the point where I just can't. And I know that she's going to go straight for that bag now, and she's just going to, yeah. Okay, right then. This is the good stuff. This bag, by the way, is a Christmas gift from a long time ago. It's a bit blown out, but it's got TARDIS on it, and it's also got Denna and Quoth from Kingkiller Chronicles, which is 2 books of a trilogy. The 3rd one's not released, and they are the Name of the Wind and A Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss. If you have not read them, and if you like fantasy novels, you should give them a go. Seriously, the best books I have ever read. Absolutely love them. So yeah, so this is like a collab thing. So we've got this, definitely David Tennant's Doctor, you can tell by the suit, even though you can only see the hand. And yeah, Denna and Quoth. Love it. It was made for me by my friend Ashley Ray, and yeah, it's still in use. Actually, if you're watching this, I know you're not. Yeah, I'm not gonna, these are not in any sort of order in which I bought them. I'm just gonna pretty much do them as they come out of the bag, although I don't know, I might be slightly selective because there's some special things in here. Yeah, so this is the Crinkliness, which is a set of minis by Lay Family Yarn. This is their Earth Tones set, I think it was called, and I've seen these on other podcasts and thought they were beautiful, and I genuinely thought I could resist getting them for myself until I saw them in person, and I was like, no. I wanted to get something from Lay Family Yarns because I'd seen their yarns around a lot, but never been able to, never actually ordered online from them, and never seen them at a show before, so I definitely wanted to get something to try, and yeah, these stole my heart slightly. I think these are going to end up being another litmus cowl. I don't know if you remember, I wore the one I did with green stripes, not last episode, the episode before. So yeah, so this may well become another one of those. I know Mum has seriously hinted that she wants a litmus cowl, and I know Ducky Darlings do sets for them, which are really nice sets, and I had thought about getting one of those and doing it, but I might do this and then maybe get another one of those sets if she's still dyeing them next year, but this one first. All the light shining on that one. Okay, let's see. Delving into the bag. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's definitely 5 of these. 5 of these. These are 2-ply fingering weight yarn from Jameson and Smiths, which is a Shetland company from Shetland, which is an island off the very north of England, Scotland, which I have wanted to go to for a very long time, but it's a very long journey to get there, and I don't drive. So one day I will go to the Shetland Wool Festival, which would be amazing. So yeah, I got this Jameson wool for making more berries and more tams, and it will go with my other collection of yarn specifically for colour work, and it's lovely. It's quite woolly, it's quite heathered. I don't know if you can see that the colours are coming out quite true. Yeah, this might not be a cast on that happens right now, but it will happen. I really like those. They had such an amazing selection of colours. It was really difficult to choose, so I did sort of pick out my favourite sort of greens and rusted oranges and yeah, contrast colours to go with this, and I think it worked very well. Okie dokie. What else have we got in here? Ooh, so many goodies. Okay. I was on the hunt for Christmas yarn and Christmas colourways, and I did not find many at all. The only, I mean, to be fair, I did not go up and ask every vendor, have you got any Christmas themed colourways? I did ask quite a few vendors that, and to many it was like, no, it's too early. Never too early, I need to knit all the Christmas socks. But yeah, I managed to get the Poinsettia colourway by Mothie and the Squid. I absolutely love this. I've seen pictures of this on Instagram and just been like, oh, it's so lovely. This is on their sparkle base. It's a 35% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 5% lurex. Really sparkly, really beautiful, and yeah, Mothie and Squid Poinsettia yarn. The other thing that I managed to get from them, hello? No, I did not get my cat from Mothie and the Squid. I did not. Will you please go over there? Do you want your cushion back? Here you go. There you go. The other thing I picked up from them was their show colourway, just in a mini. It's the Yorkshire Dales colourway, because Skipton, where Yarndale is held, is in the Yorkshire Dales. And I just thought this was absolutely beautiful. I would have liked a full skein of this, but it wasn't in the budget. And so I just got a little mini, and I'm very happy with that. Don't know what it's going to be, but I like the fact that I have it. It's such beautiful colours, so beautiful. Love the way Mothie and Squid dyes. It's like that stand just jumps out of all the other stands, because it's the way she dyes is so different. It's just beautiful, beautiful. Sorry, Cassie. I need to get in the bag. You can't sit on it. Okay, and obviously I went to see Liz at the Yarn Badger, and I picked up this colourway from her. My question was, as she didn't have any Christmas colourways, what could we technically call a Christmas colourway? And we actually had 2 to choose from, and we went for this one, which is the Fireside colourway, because I have a fireside and it will look more Christmassy at Christmas. See, tenuous links to Christmas socks, but like I said, I'm not one for, it doesn't have to be red, white and green for me. So if I call it a Christmas sock, it's a Christmas sock, and this is going to be a Christmas sock. Love yarn, the Yarn Badger's yarn. She dyes prominently, mainly self-striping, although she did have an amazing selection of autumnal tonals, semi-tonals and speckles on the stall, and it was just like, wow. Oh, so pretty. So yeah. I have another one to add to my collection, but this will get knit up very soon. Very, very soon. Okay. It's getting to the bottom. It is. So next I got 2 skeins of single weight yarn from Black Elephant. I had seen Black Elephant at the Wool Monty in Sheffield earlier in the year when I got the yarn for this scarf, which my hair is covering. Yeah, and I got the Mudbound colourway, and as soon as I saw her booth I was drawn to the Mudbound colourway again. I know, but look how beautiful it is. The other colourway I picked up was Darrell, which is very dark and stormy and absolutely stunning. It's got some purples. It's just the speckles. Oh, it's just to die for. This is her 100% merino singles base, and this is going to be another one of these shawls. So I have got all the single base because this is my other Mudbound, which is on her, this is 100% superwash merino. So I don't know if this is interesting, but you can see it takes colour slightly differently, and I really wanted that pop of colour that I would get from the single. So that's why I decided to get a single, even though I already have this colourway, because I love it. And so what I'm going to do when I recreate the shawl, and hopefully I can get this wound up and cast on this afternoon, because this is I want to cast this on so much, is I'm going to recreate this shawl. I'm going to make some more modifications and completely make it my pattern. However, what I am going to do is use this stripe pattern as the base, and I will be starting off in the darker colour, the Darrell colour, and then I will be going to the Mudbound at the bottom. So it will almost be like if you have both. I'm waffling and waffling. Yeah. So it will be another version of this shawl, and this will be where I am going to formulate the pattern. And it will be starting in the darker colour, the Darrell, as I've started in the darker colour on this one, but then it will be going into the Mudbound. So it'll be a bit moodier than this shawl, because this shawl goes to the very paler. But I think it'll make an interesting companion piece. When you get to see the two projects next to each other, it will give you the idea of whether you want to go for the paler version or the darker version. But yeah, I want to cast this on right now. Only one more thing in the bag, although that one thing is 4 things. So on last week's show, I said that I'd signed up for the Stephen West mystery shawl along. Never knit a Stephen West pattern. He is most known for quite flamboyant, quite geometric patterns. There is a lot of construction work in them. The Penguono, I think, is one of his most famous patterns that you might have seen other podcasters making. Also, the Versities Unite shawl is another very popular one. It's all piecework and whatnot, and with this being a mystery shawl along, I'm expecting there to be either piecework or whatnot. Whatever, it is going to be beyond my current skill level as a knitter, as far as I'm aware. So, nervous, but I'm going to do it. And that's why this podcast is going weekly, because we're going to be catching up weekly with the clues and how I'm getting on, and whether I've driven myself absolutely insane yet. So if I look in this bag, which has all the things from last week's podcast, no it doesn't. Oh, it's here. So I had picked out this yarn, which is a Rhapsody yarn that I got in a Christmas Eve box last year, and I went to Yarndale to get a contrast colour, either a dark grey, a black, or maybe one of the bright colours. But I was on the Die Candy stand, and her colours are amazing. But she did have a range of semi-solids in primary colours, like red, yellow, blue, blah, 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 and blacks and greys and whatnot. So I couldn't decide, because she had all the colours. I could have picked any of them, and I couldn't decide. So in the end, I went for black, because the clue we've been given is that you need a main colour and a contrasting colour, and the main colour has to be a framing colour, so high contrast, and so I've gone for black. This might be a very, very silly idea. And also this, I mean, yeah, this would have been perfect. This is lovely. This is absolutely lovely, but this was made for me, and I could not resist this. Come on. I mean, it's bonkers. It's neon and it's black, but it's going to make it so pretty. So yeah. So this is my colourway for the Stephen West Mystery Make Along. Black and black with neon pops. This is called Acid colourway. Quite spot on there. And this is the Reaper colourway. And yeah, this makes me so excited to start this and cast this on. The first clue comes out on Friday. It's currently Wednesday. I am going to ball up 2 of these and swatch, which I can do. And yeah, I will keep you informed as to how we get on. But yeah, this was my big splurge of the day. It's just, I mean, I'm going to be making a bonkers shawl. I might as well absolutely love the bonkers yarn. Love it. Really love it. And that is the end of my bag of acquisitions, hauls, additions to the Dragon's Hoard. I have my little Yarndale. Yeah, good haul. Very happy with it. Want to cast so many things on. So that is it for this week's episode. I will pop a little bit of footage at the end that I took on the actual day. There's not a lot. It was busy. I felt a bit of a plum every time I got my camera out because, yeah, there's not a lot of footage, but I will cobble some together over some cheesy elevator music and put it at the end of this episode. Cassie's back on my knee if you're wondering why my hands are below doing this. Yeah, so thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. I will be back next week. I will have cast on the Stephen West shawl. That is it for this week's episode. Thank you for watching. I will see you next week. Bye bye. So we're here at Yarndale and with Erica. Hi! That isn't the queue to get in, that is the queue for food because we just got here at lunchtime. I'll show you around outside. Lots of people all laughing at me because I've sweated my makeup off, and I'll show you around inside. Bye! So yeah, stereotypical Latvian with a Latvian braid. Here you go. They actually go really nicely with your top. They're so pretty.
Amazing.
They are really
They're
lovely.
proper wool.
Are they? Are they really dense?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They'll be nice and
Aren't they amazing?
windproof and waterproof.
Yeah. I really must do some Latvian braids.
It's very easy to do.
You always say that. Using German twisted cast on or whatever is really easy to do.
So much a great kit.